Hi, and in this episode you're going to learn how to RGH an Xbox 360. Why would you want to do that in 2024? Well, there's lots of reasons why you would want to do that in 2024. Number one, on the 29th of July, Xbox Live 360 marketplace ends, and in September the Xbox 360 comes off the Xbox Live servers. So it's dead in the water, guys, is the Xbox. So why not hack your console? Why not change it into an RGH console? Why not preload all your hard drive with all your favourite games, emulators, anything that you want really. We can run Amiga stuff, we can run PlayStation games, we can do all sorts of things. You can plug a keyboard and mouse into it and use it like a PC. You can, as far as I'm aware, you can install Windows style operating system, i.e. like Linux or something like that, that will run on these as well. So just let's get to the RGHing. And we'll have a look at the end at the dashboard, Aurora dashboard, and how to set that up as well. So stick to it through to end, and I'll also have a chat with you right at the very end as well. If you're interested in these consoles and you want to purchase one from me, you're more than welcome to. Check down in the description, you'll find the links to my contact details. There's a Facebook group, there's my email address, everything's down there if you want. So if you want to chat to me about getting an RGH console, by all means, get in touch with me. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Hi, and welcome back to another episode. And on this episode, we're going to do an RGH3 on this 360. Why do we want to do this? Why do we want to change one of these into an RGH3? Well, July 29th, 2024, the marketplace on Xbox Live closes down. We're already seeing on the Xbox 360 the game servers are starting to slowly shut down. So some of the games you can't even play online with anymore. And I'm under the understanding that when we come to in September, that this thing is coming off Xbox Live completely. It's gone. So why would we want to do an RGH stroke Jtag on one of these consoles? Well, doing an RGH on one of these consoles opens it up. The console's basically locked down to Microsoft software, and if we do an RGH3 or known as Jtag, that changes the console so it will run open source software, i.e. emulators of everything you can possibly think of almost. I think there's about 25 emulators or something like that for it. There's also, you can put modded games in there as well if you want to play around with modifying games. You can copy the discs to the hard drive and don't have to bother with discs anymore at all. You can put Xbox Live arcade games on there. If they're not, they will be locked, but we won't be able to do about that anymore. But the Jtag does have software to be able to unlock the full arcade games, so that'll work on that. It will also deal with DLC as well. If you want to go further and do a Aurora dashboard on there instead of the normal one, you can set up in there and it will automatically pull down the pictures. It'll automatically pull down the game updates. It'll automatically pull down DLC if it's already there for you, etc, etc, etc. So I used to look after about 4 or 5 games shops about 10, 13 years ago, where I looked after all the console repairs, and mainly it was the Xbox 360s. So it's been a long time. I have set up the JRunner software with extras. I've got the new instructions displayed up on my screen up there, which I'll show you guys later. You can actually see the web page here, and you can see JRunner running here in the reflection on the console. So what we've got to do first is get this thing stripped down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull it all in bits, To be able to do an RGH, you will need either a Pico flasher. This has just been programmed this morning with 3.9. It's just a Raspberry Pi Pico. You can use one of them. The instructions are on that website for that. If you don't want to use one of them, you can use a JRunner. But to use JRunner, you're going to need a PC that can disable driver signing. The Windows 10 is an absolute pain in the backside. So this will have a light on, is it a D4S or something like that inside here. We need to know whether it's got a Wimborne chip on there or an MXI chip on there, which you can tell if you look at the disk drive chip. It'll either be 03 or 05 as it starts. If it's an 03, then we can do it a different way. We can cut a circuit on the back of the board and we can do it that way. If it's an 05, then you're going to have to do what we called back in the day, excuse the crinkly noises, it's what we called back in the day the kamikaze hack. So basically I had to put this across the DVD drive, get your drill. You needed feed as well from the power cable to the drill housing and start drilling through the chip until you get a beep off Jungle Flasher, and that's how you do them ones. But I don't know whether I'm going to do that in this video. All we're doing it today is doing the RGH. I might do flashing tutorials if that's what you want. If you would like me to do flashing tutorials, by all means let me know in the comments. If you'd like me to do other consoles, if you want me to do the flashing of most of the drives, like the DS4, DS5, you cannot just change the DS5, you cannot just flash the drive, you have to change a full main motherboard. I do have an LTU board somewhere that we can replace that in a later Corona. I have picked this one up with a 250 gig hard drive from eBay. It's perfectly fine, no problems at all with it. I've been loading games on it, playing games on it over the last week or so. I've filled the 250 gig hard drive up with a load of games downloaded off Xbox Live, etc. and stuff like that. So that's all ready to go. I have picked up the 360E, the latest last model, which will definitely be a Corona. So we'll be doing a Corona as well, which will be using the Pico flash when we do the Corona. So let's stop rabbiting and let's get to stripping this console down, and I'll show you how to do that in a montage. So just before I get into the strip down, that was what we're talking about, is the LTU PCB, and that is for the drives you cannot unlock, and that is the disk main board for inside the disk drives for the Lighton D5. So there's not much stuff around left, guys, but this is the stuff you can only buy, the cheap Chinese stuff. All this stuff that you're seeing today is all genuine Team Executor stuff. I mean, I've been into this a long time. So there's your CK programmer. There's your CK2 programmer for the disk drives. You've got a Nand X. You've got another Nand X. You've got another Nand X with two JR programmers, and we have the Pico as well. So we've got plenty of tools at Arsenal, and most of these, like I said, these are all Team Executor stuff. It's not cheap stuff, not remakes, not repackaged, anything at all like that. We have everything for powering the drives and ejecting the drives for using these, but we're not going into the drive today, I don't think. So that's it. I'm not going to waffle anymore. Let's get this drive stripped into pieces. So we'll pull this fan adapter out and we'll lift that off, and let's take a look underneath there. Yuck, minging. So that looks pretty much like it needs a good clean. It's rammed with shit, to be fair. And so's the motherboard. It is quite disgusting, to be fair. So I'm going to be just going to take that away into the bathroom and brush the board off. Right, here's what I'm going to show you, if I can. See if I can get up to the camera properly, if I see. If you can see properly or not there. If you see traces there going up, then you're good. Then you know that you've got a Trinity board, and you can pick up on the CPU pin really easy, which is on the back of the board. I'll look for it somewhere. There we go, it's down here. Right, so what I'm going to do now is prepare the board. We're going to install as Jtag wires. There's two wires that we've got, and we're going to install the Nand wires which go in down here. But I do need to clean these up first. Make sure that they're all fiberglass pen over the top, so we can get to them, get some solder blobs on there, and then we can get it soldered up. I'm going to do the wiring under the microscope so you guys can see what I'm doing with the wiring on the back of the board. There's only two wires, one resistor, and we're pretty good with that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to crack on and get these Nand wires installed. I think I'll do the back ones first, and then we'll do the Nand wires. What I'm going to do first is clean off these old crap that's on these thermal paste. I keep saying crap, don't I? On this thermal paste. So we're just going to scrape that off gently with a screwdriver. Don't push on, just push. And all this hard stuff, you'll see, it just peels up and falls off because it's crap. Don't worry, you will need thermal paste because it's always best to do. You don't really want to be stripping these down without repasting it. So we've got them big lumps off. We're just going to go in with a little bit of IPA now. And you can see IPA brings it off really quick, look. And get shut of all this shite. And another reason for doing this is then you don't get it all over your hands while you're working on it, because this stuff is horrible to get off you. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Nice and shiny. And we're going to do that with the main board too. And that's it. The thermal paste, thermal grease, gone from off there now. Right, it's time to get them wires installed. Right, so what I've done is I've just cleaned up the top of the board where the Nand wire goes on. And if you look at the top left of that picture there, you can see post. So I've just scratched around with my fiberglass pen around there to take the laminate across the top, or lacquer off the board or something like that, so you can get to the points and it'll solder better. Same with down the bottom right hand side with the SMC PLL. I've cleaned that up down there as well. Same with your CMC post, and I need to look at that PL bypass when we go under the microscope, because there's no way on this planet that I can see that with my old eyes. So I'm going to pull out the microscope for that. So what we're going to do first before I look at the board is we're going to set up his wires, because we're going to need them once we're under the microscope anyway. So the instructions say place a 3 to 10k resistor on the PL line and solder your wires to the other end of the resistor. So that's what we've got here. So there's little resistors under there. I don't have any 3, I don't have any 10. I think this is a 5 to 6 or something like that. So we're going to go with that one anyway. So we're going to get this soldered on and prep the wires, and then we'll proceed onto the board.
Right over there. Are you listening to me?
So that's his PLL wire with his resistor in, ready to go into the board. We have another little wire, because there is one for the top. I'll just show you that again. So you can see you've got 2 wires there. So we've just prepped them wires to go in on the back of the board. Now it's time for the microscope. Let's pull it out and let's take a gander, and let's see if we can solder it up. These points are tiny. You'll see that under the microscope. Okay, so we can see under there, that is his first point up at the top left corner. I'll pop you a picture so you can see that down on the screen somewhere. And what we're going to do is just put a bit of blob of solder on there and prep that one. So we've got a little bit of flux, because we always like flux. Put that down there. Down the side of these ones somewhere, we'll tidy that up. Over here, over this side. You can see it, I'll turn it, find that point for you. So it's there, look. Bit difficult for me to point to you. Let's find that bit of tiny little bit of wire, and I'll see if I can point to it. So that's where we're putting his wire to that point there. So if you look for this block over this side, by the way, yeah, come on. So if you look for that block around there and look at them 3, and then just drop down to 1 there, you can see that comes up to that resistor as well there, doesn't it? So we could go off that. So that's the point that we're going to use. So we'll put a bit of fluxy on there, and we'll mark that up as well and see if we can get some solder on it, because it'll help us to solder if we do that. So the soldering iron's warming up. We're going to look for the PLL bypass, which is under C835, which is just under here somewhere. Should be a row. No, it's not an 8. C35. You see it right there, look. And we want it. It should be just under that 3, or near the 3. I'm trying to look at it online, but these pictures don't go that big, so I'm just gonna have to, excuse me a minute. So yeah. So yeah, it's very difficult. I'm going to try and hold it if I can without moving the board. But you can see it here, and you can see that trace running straight through there. So we want that point there. So all I'm going to do is take the edge off my little things here, and I'm going to start scraping at that. You can just do it gently, doesn't have to be a lot. I wish I could get in a bit closer to be able to see that, but let's see if we can. You're going to see how tiny this is in a minute. I'm using the smallest of irons I can possibly use what I've got today and get some solder on it. And we've got some solder around there, haven't we? It's not a lot. I would have liked more on it, but unfortunately that's what we're playing with. So let's go to the CPU pickup point. We'll put a little bit more flux on there. And I'm just going to flip this board around because I'm not working left-handed. So the point we're wanting is the second one down from there, that one. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit of solder on there if I can. A bit freshed up. The other point was huh? The other point was around here. That's it. So we remember rightly, it was there, wasn't it? And we need to go to the one. We need to go to that one. So again, we'll put a bit of flux on. We'll just try and put a bit of solder on. Onto that little point. Just there. There you go. Don't worry about this top bit up here that I've sanded away where I've my micro there, look. And there's that trace there, look. I've taken this top off, haven't I? But don't worry, I've got some solder mask that I'm just going to mark over the top of that and set it with the UV light. So that's that one done. And our last point that we need to prepare is, you can see there, can't you? I've taken solder mask off really easy. I did scratch up top of it. It looks like I missed it, but I didn't. So it comes around there on that trace anyway, so we're okay. Bit of flux on. Just a bit of solder. That's on. Right, while we're here, this is where our post goes on with this resistor. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off the excess. Done that. I'm going to put a little bit of flux. I know you can't see me, but I'm putting a little bit of flux on the end of the wire. See if we can solder that on there. It should be fairly easy. A bit difficult for you to see. Whoa. There you go, you can see that better. So I'm hoping that we can just solder that straight back on there. I've got a touch of solder. Perfect. So that's that one in. we may as well go up, haven't we, and connect his wire to the other end. Good. Perfect. There'll be a little bit on that capacitor there, but it doesn't matter. So now we need to find us other place over this side. Right, so that's his Nand wires wired up. I have put the heatsink back on a new thermal paste. I've plugged the Ethernet cable in. I've plugged the aerial cable in for the television, and I've plugged power in, and I've plugged the Nand X in as well. So we don't want to do anything at all with the telly or anything like that at the moment. So I'm going to take you up to the screen and show you what we're going to do now. So fingers crossed, we've all got it wired up, we've got it powered up, we've got his Nand in, we've got everything sorted out. I'm hoping I've got all the wires correct, because it's been a long time, like I said before. We've got now got JRunner running, and if I go up to here now, we've got a dashboard version. We don't know what console it is yet. None of this is here. Nothing's populated yet. So what I'm going to do is hit the read Nand and see what happens. No console found. Ooh. So, looks like we're going to come back to that bit, doesn't it? So, we had a bad Nand flasher. And we're reading Nand 1 now. I've already changed the Nand reader. I knew one of them were bad, I've got 3. So yeah. So we're just reading the Nands now, fingers crossed. It's found it as a Trinity. 16 megabytes, so let's fingers crossed that we can get through there now. Dump that Nands, see if we get a pair that's the same. So I'll skip you forward to do this until we get to the end of the 2 Nands. Right, so I'm going to press eject on the front of the console now. So fingers crossed we should go into Zell. And we do, look, success. We have officially Jtagged our console. So we've got a CPU key on there and stuff now, like. We've got an FTP, we've got a network as well. So I'm going to take you back over now, back onto JRunner and show you. So the camera lost some footage here, and what I didn't say previously before you read your Nand is to just plug your power supply in. Do not switch the console on. If you do, it will blow your Nand reader. So don't switch it on, just plug your power supply in and use standby power. Then when you've done that and you've booted up and we've got XL, you can go to where it says bottom right corner there, where it says get CPU. If you look at your Excel screen, you took note of your network IP address, you can pop it in there and click get CPU key, and that'll automatically transfer it over to you for you. And of course, if you wanted to take a picture of that Excel screen with your phone and input it in yourself, you can also type it in yourself, but it is a lot easier just to plug a network cable in, once it's booted into Zell, so you can get that key pulled straight over. So once you've done that, you can then move on and make sure that it says in the box what type of motherboard it is. Make sure Glitch 2 is selected and make sure RGH3 is selected. Once you've done that, you can then click Create XE Build. Once that completes, you then click Write Nand and wait for it to complete. Once it's completed, again, just unplug your NAND reader from your console before you power on for the last time to see whether it's done. So we're almost there now. Nearly there, and then we can test the console. Cool. Right. So let's disconnect the NAND X and see if this thing boots straight into its dashboard now. I'm going to start it up by hitting the power button. And hopefully we should boot into the Xbox screen. Hey, we're in, look! So there you go, we're in. So we should be on the latest dashboard if we go and have a look. Console settings. System information. We are on 17559, which is the latest dashboard, and I will presume that is going to be the last dashboard that we will ever get. So we're done and dusted now. So I'm going to rebuild this back up, and then we'll test it right at the very end to boot XEX menu. You can see me a little bit in the background from the glare. That'll disappear shortly. So I have put a few games on. It has been a few days since I put it back together, and I have preloaded the hard drive, so you're going to see what we've done when I start it up. So first of all, we're going to start out by pressing eject and doing the XEX menu boot just to double check. So there we go, we're all done and dusted. Fuses, write them down, keep them safe. DVD drive key, CPU key, serial numbers there, everything's there, yada yada yada. I might block it out, but I don't see a point really, but there you go. So yeah, so we're up and running on XL Reloaded. So what I'm going to do now is just switch it off and switch it on by the power button. So you'll see now when I switch it on how fast this actually boots up. Ring of light's just gone round. We should get the Xbox boot screen. There we go. So this is going to boot us straight into Aurora. As you can see, it's booted straight into Aurora. What you have to do is you install Dash Launch. I'll show you. Let's show you what we'll do. Just to put these in. So what you do is you get your Aurora, put it on your USB stick, copy it into an apps folder, download Dash Launch, put it in an apps folder, fire up your XEX menu like that. We'll press shift bumper, go into apps. If you go into Dash Launch and want to launch that installer in launch, so that gives us Dash Launch. So if you go into paths at the top one, so it's the very first top one, paths, and go into default, when you select that, it asks you, what do you want to do? So we can go back to Aurora. We can go down to Aurora and select Aurora. Once you've done that, if you press the left bumper twice, it should bring you to this screen. So if you move down to your HDD and press X to save your state. So that's that done. That's your Aurora in, and that's your Dash Launch in. So I've just backed out of that now. So that should boot straight back to Aurora, which it has done. When you're in Aurora, you have got 4 controls. So I'm going to press the back button, which brings you up to a file manager, scripts, restart, shutdown, reboot. You have got the start button, which brings up, oops, we've lost the screen. See if it comes back up. There you go. So once you've pressed start, you're in here. You've got assets, so you can download all your box art from whichever country you're from. You've got your profile, which if you set up to if you log into Unity website and set up yourself a username and password, you can request a key here, and that logs you in. So you're logged up with Unity, and for system link games with other Unity players. You can set up your auto sign-in. I've just set up an RGH3 profile for the time being. Auto sign, set that. Over this side you've got content, so you can create paths. So just to show you, these are the paths that I've got on this hard drive. So I'll just add a path and just show you. So you can select down here, applications, emulators, homebrew, custom, not set. So I'm not going to bother doing any of them because I'm just showing you for the time being, but you can select them and they'll go into each categories that you want. So if you've set up an applications folder on your hard drive, you can select applications and then you will go to change path, go to where your hard drive is, into your apps, and over your apps folder, if you look, you press Y to select that folder. Yeah. So that's that done. If I select that folder, you can see the path at the top. Look, that's what it's going to look in for as apps. And then you would move right and click save. Job done. So you would do that for all your paths that you've got your games, emulators, homebrews, content, etc. If you've got a USB hard drive that you want to plug in the back of it, which I have, which is a 1 terabyte, and that's plugged in the back, that shows up as USB. Let's see if I can find my USB. Let it just scan a little bit. So if I go back to add path now and change location, you can see that we've got a USB 0. So if I had games on a USB stick, then I would select and pick out my game that I want. There's no Xbox games in here because I've moved them all over. This is just stuff that's on my USB stick. Content folder, there's a few bits inside that content folder. I think that's your Code 99's your XEX menu, which is in there. So yeah, so that's how you would set up your USB stick if you wanted to. Modules. In modules, you've got Dash Launch active. You've got an FTP server there, so if you wanted to FTP stuff across to your hard drive, you can do. I do that. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot better than sticking discs in and wearing your disk drive out. If you put a disk in, it's going to change it into a God file, which is pretty much quite a large file, to be fair. So there's no point. You may as well rip the games completely out of the files, out of the ISO, and transfer them via FTP. If you go in FTP, you can change the port, you can change your credentials. So we don't want that on there. We'll do it just like it is on XEX menu. So we'll set that to Xbox. Password. We'll change that to Xbox. Don't worry about using passwords and stuff like that. It's on the network, so nobody else is going to see through to it. So that's saved in there. We're on port 21, and that's done. Nova. This is for screen capturing. If you want to do that, you activate a restart button. The trigger is the back button. So if you wanted to screen capture, you start it with the start button, and then you press your back button to capture. Language modules, security. If you wanted to set passwords to protect your game folders and things like that from your kids playing on it and playing around with it, you can. So you can set up a password on here so you can just lock it all down. Aurora About is where you will go for your updates. But as you can see here, I'm already updated onto the full latest Aurora dashboard. So that's it for the back button. Start button? Start button, yeah. In the back button, you've got File Manager, which explains itself, to be fair. Scripts. You can go in here to the Aurora repo browser, and you can download anything that you want to go on here. So I need another language packs because that one doesn't work. So let's go into the repo. Oh, let's put the network back in. So we're in there now, and you can go through your sorting things. So what did I say? I wanted languages, didn't I? So we'll have to have a look at Unity scripts. No, nothing in there. You can set up weather if you want. It does have a thing in there for view your disk, view my console. So you can have a look at your console details without doing anything. I'll show you that if under the scripts in a minute. See if it can get you to fire that up. Yeah, and you've got database cleaners, etc. So that's what you can do in that one. Subtitles, yeah. Sorting, is that what we want? What did we want? Languages, didn't we? So that's sorting your files out in sorting. Subtitles, capacities, not in there. It must be in filters then. So you can hide things in here. You can hide backups, connect games, hide multi-discs. So if you put something in, say LNR, that's 3 discs, it's going to show you 3 discs on the dashboard, which you don't want. You only want the main disc. So that's it for your scripts inside there. So that's just to let you know about that. Right. So your next menu will be the Y button. It says in the middle of the screen down there. So we can pick any game. Let's go for Undead Nightmare. If you've put trainers in, which there is other videos to teach you that, you can press left on D-pad, which will bring up any trainers for this system, which there isn't. So if you look down at the bottom there where it says A for trainer, bottom left of the box, if I move left and right, we've got launch, we've got subtitle. So we've got options in there, look. So that's title updates. So if we need to download a title update for it, we can get one of them. So let's have the latest one. We'll just download that one. That should come down nice and easy. Doobie 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 doo. And once it's downloaded, it comes into the installed section. Don't think because you've downloaded it like this that it's activated. It isn't. You need to go back to the installed section where it is and press A on it to enable that update. So that's that one done. You can also, if you come down here, you've got DLC. So if you've got any download content, you can have a look. You can go into File Manager if you wish to check it out, see if you've moved anything in some wrong places. Let's get out of there. We've got achievements, save games. If you wanted to transfer a save game over, you can do. We haven't played it, so there isn't any. Under this next section down here, we have got review. So if you've downloaded any screenshots, they will be in here. Screen captures. I'm still pressing left. We can refresh it. And we can download cover art. So with Red Dead Redemption, what I've done is I've put 2 games on my system. So I had Red Dead Redemption and I had Red Dead Redemption on Undead Nightmare. The Undead Nightmare one didn't have the correct picture. So this is where you would change your pictures. So if I press A on there, it gives you the full art. So that's the one that it was on when I first installed this game and I changed it. So we don't want that because it's telling us wrong. It's not Red Dead Redemption, it's the Undead Nightmare. So we want Undead Nightmare, so we'll select that one. And we've added the Undead Nightmare thing. You can also, if I come back out of that a minute, if you notice underneath it, what does it say? It says Red Dead Redemption, but it's the Undead Nightmare, isn't it? So we want to change that game name. So again, press Y, go right down to the bottom, press A and rename. I'm going to take away Red Redemption and just put Undead. And once you've done that, just press start button again and you'll see that it's renamed. So when we look at it on the dashboard again, we've got Undead Nightmare on there. So that's pretty much it for Aurora on that side of things. If you want to do other things, there is one more menu. That's right, there is 4 menus on Aurora. This one did my boxing for ages. I couldn't remember it, and if I'd have actually just read the bottom of the screen, it's there. It's B for view, bottom left corner if you look. So when you press B, this takes you into the section what sets up your Aurora. So if you want to use categories like all these, you can put all these down and they will appear in the dashboard on a Aurora. You can change them to show all, or show just applications, or show emulators, etc. You can show favourites only if you want, if you favourited them, which you would do that by pressing Y in the same place really as where you rename it, etc. and things like that. So quick view, I don't know. Aurora background, you can change backgrounds if you've got more than one. Skins, you can change the skins if you wish. So it's all proper customizable. Letterbox on a 4.5 screen. Or you can put RS feed on. So your RSS feed at the bottom. So if you switch that on, we go back to the dashboard, you'll see across the bottom now, just coming across, might be difficult for you to see. It says scene news latest topics, Xbox One dump from Retail 1, code execution on Xbox One boot ROM, big Xbox One security system leak, 22 gigs worth of source code, E3 2019 box briefing, that's a bit old, isn't it? Xbox One XVD tool version 0.51. So it gives you a little bit of info on there. I quite like popping it on every now and again. It's not something I like to leave on, so I'm going to switch that back off again. So to do that, you press your B button again, go back across to RS feed and just uncheck that box, and you'll see that it's disappeared off your dashboard. So there you go guys, that is an RGH3 Xbox 360 Slim. So yeah, that's an Xbox 360 RGH console. You saw in the video there the Aurora dashboard and everything that you can do on there. I said previously that you can run applications like dash launch. You can change the dash boot where it wants to boot into. Either you want the original dashboard, or you want to go into Aurora, or you want to go in a freestyle dash. You can use dash launch to set that path and make it automatically boot into there. You can as well, if you look on YouTube and find videos on how to change the boot animation at the beginning, you know, when it comes up with the Xbox and it's swirly, you can change that too. So you can fully customize your Xbox 360s. I've recently learned as well that you can change the switch on in eject sounds to change it into a limited edition console. So if you wanted it to sound like a Star Wars console when it starts up, you can do so. If you want it to be like a Halo Reach console when it starts up, you can do that too. So there's lots and lots of stuff that I'm learning about the Xbox again. Some of you might not know, but I used to look after 4 or 5 game shops back in 2010 for all the console repairs. And mainly, obviously, was the 360, red lights, disk drive problems, lasers. Some people wanted the drive flashing so they could run backups to save the wear and tear or damage to the originals. Some of them wanted RGH consoles or Jtag back then. For this similar kind of reason, for modding for like Modern Warfare to get your XP up, one-shot kill, gives you 1,000,000 XP, things like that. So that's what you used to use for these. Online, they used to do. You used to charge you a load of money to come in, to join that lobby, to go into the RGH game, and boost all your XP straight up. Of course, taking one of these on Xbox Live and RGH or Jtag will get you banned instantly. Pretty much instantly. You probably have about 20 minutes or something like that. But with the Jtag, you can change its serial number, its KV values inside there, and into all intents and purposes, clone it into another console. So that's what we're doing back then. You can have a couple of Nands and a few USB sticks and keep changing them every 20 minutes, reflash them onto there, and you can back on Xbox Live and you're running your servers. That's what they were doing back in the day. But with these servers coming offline now, that's dead in the water. We may as well have a console that we can plug a big hard drive into, put all those games onto that hard drive, and we can play them as I please without causing any more wear and tear to the disk drive. You can, if you don't want to, you can put a disk in and copy the disk in if you wish. That takes it to a God container. You can put the disk in and go through XEX menu and drag the files off the disk and put it to your hard drive if you want. You can connect via FTP and transfer them over. You can put it on a USB stick and put it in the front and transfer them over. If you don't want to use a joypad, you can plug keyboard and mouse in and use that instead. So there is quite a lot of stuff to do. So if you want me to do some more videos on the Xboxes, flashing the drives for instance, or some more RGHs, I have got an Xbox One E. Unfortunately it's a Winchester, so if you're looking at an Xbox 360E, the latest model, you can only go up to, they say August 2014. I wouldn't personally go August, I would have said more like June, at a push, July. So if you look at the manufacturing date on the E model, if you've got one below that, I would like to do one. So if you've got one that an E360E below July 14 on its manufacture date, and you want it Jtagging, let me know. If you post it over, I will do a video on it, and I will send it straight back RGH. It won't cost you anything to do that, because I want to personally do the latest style of Xbox 360. I've done all the others, so I may as well do the last one. So that's it for this week, guys. I might punch another one out. We have got another console that's coming, that's got a faulty disk tray, I believe, and it has overheat. So that's been posted out to me by a gentleman on Facebook. So keep out, watch out. So that might be an up and coming video next or so. Once I've got past these Xboxes stuff, I'm going to go back to the retro gear, back to his Amiga stuff. I do have another Amiga 2000 to do the 6800 socket change and to clean up where the battery area is. That's the other one. We've also go back to the A2000 for putting the PyStorm inside there. I have got an A1200 that needs to be recapped. We've got lots and lots and lots coming up. So make sure that you hit that subscribe, notification bell for all up and coming videos. And until then, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.